Hello, Poash kids. Welcome to Vacation Bible School Day 2. I am Mr. Paul, and I am so glad to be with you today. I'm especially happy to be with you because I get to share one of my favorite Bible stories that we find in the Bible. And this story comes from a time when Jesus was on earth, and Jesus was traveling around. He was meeting with people. And at this time, he had gone into a home, and people had heard about Jesus. All over the area, they had heard about him coming. And so they filled up this house. They filled up the home. They just wanted to hear from Jesus. They heard that he was healing people and that he was teaching, and people wanted to be around Jesus. And there were these men that they heard about Jesus and the amazing things he was doing. And they had a friend who was paralyzed, a friend that couldn't walk. And they said, let's get our friend to see Jesus. And so they get their friend. They take him to see Jesus. They carry him on a mat. And when they get there, the house is full and they can't get in. So they got to figure out a way for their friend to be with Jesus. So they look around, they say, what can we do? And guess what they did? I want you right now, look up. Look up at your ceiling in your house. You know what they did? They went up on the roof and they started tearing a hole in their ceiling. Imagine right now, in your home, a hole getting ripped in your ceiling. Kind of crazy, right? But that's how bad they wanted to see Jesus and how badly they knew that their friend needed to see Jesus. So they ripped this hole in the ceiling and they lower their friend down so that he can see Jesus. So when the friends lower their paralyzed friend before Jesus through the hole in the ceiling, Jesus sees their faith and he says, I see you, I love you, I will make you whole for your community, your sins are forgiven. And the religious people, there were some religious people there called scribes, and they saw and they heard this and they weren't happy with it. And they were saying to themselves, who does he think he is? Who does this Jesus think he is? Only God can forgive sins. But Jesus knew their hearts, and so he turns to them and he says, I know what you're thinking. And what's harder, for me to say I love you and I see you and you're made whole, or for me to say get up and walk? I will show you that I can do both. And so at that time, with compassion, Jesus turned to the paralyzed man, the man who couldn't walk, and he said, get up, stand up, take your mat and walk. And the man did walk. And everyone was amazed because they had never seen anything like this. And so I want to ask you today, what does it mean to be brave? I think a lot of times we think being brave is something that only superheroes do, and they do these amazing things. Or maybe being brave is for you going to the top of the high jump and jumping off into the water, or holding a snake. I don't know what bravery means to you, but I think we see today that being brave can mean standing up and doing the right thing for our friends, and helping our friends, or helping someone get to the place that they need to be. Or maybe being brave might be to be like the paralyzed man and admit our weakness and ask for help. Or maybe being brave might be to be like Jesus and to fully see somebody and accept them for exactly who they are. Where do you need to be brave this week? How can you be brave? I hope that this story encourages you to be brave with compassion. Thank you.